keep it off, but. So we're going to start in a comfortable seated option. We're going to feel our tailbone relaxing, feel our spine lengthening, resting into our shoulders. Let's gather in some deep breaths from the nose towards the belly, and then relax the breath back out of the belly, back out of our nose. We're going to feel a little bit of lift in our ribs, the top of the head, a little bit of release in our shoulders and our hips, and we'll find those long, deep breaths traveling through the spine as we breathe. Feeling the top of the head stretch towards the sky. Let's relax in ear to the shoulder. Feel the side of the neck stretching open. Reaching tall, relaxing towards the other side. Reaching tall, slowly reaching the shoulders up and down a few times. Just a little release in our shoulder blades and neck. And with the top of the head reaching tall, let's float the palms open. Inhaling fingertips towards the sky. Exhaling thumbs to the heart. Inhaling as we lift. Exhaling lower. Let's find one more breath. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, resting. Relaxing our hands wherever it's comfortable. Inhale, picking up the heart, opening the chest. As we exhale, let's find a diagonal line. Thinking about the tailbone pressing in towards the ground. The top of the head reaching into that lean from the back of the ribs and the neck. And then as our fingertips feel space on the ground, we're going to hinge just to the point that we feel the back lifting towards the sky. And then we'll feel each inhale pick up the back of the ribs towards the ceiling. And then maybe each exhale relaxes our ribs a little closer towards the ground. Rib cage may not move, that's optional. We're just breathing through the back of the lungs. The back of the ribs pressing up. And then the front of the ribs relaxing down with our breath. And with our inhale, let's travel the top of the head back up to the sky, sending one arm tall. Let's stretch it over, feeling that side rib cage opening. Finding neutral, let's send the other arm up, reaching it over, finding stretch in our side body. Lifting tall, let's pull the heart towards the sky. Exhaling thumbs to the heart. Now our legs can continue to be where they're at. If you are in a crisscross, you're welcome to trade out the crisscross. Resting our hands, let's inhale and pick up the ribs towards the sky. Let's exhale, hinge towards that diagonal line. Feel the fingertips grounding. Exhaling just to the point where you can feel the back of the lungs move up towards the sky with our inhales. And maybe our exhales relax our ribs towards the thighs. Take a few more breaths, really thinking about the back of the lungs opening and releasing and breathing where we feel that relaxing stretch today. Maybe different than the time we've traditionally went into this position. And as we reach our spine up tall, our shoulders rest, our inhale lifts the heart towards the sky. Exhaling, turning the ribs to one side, resting the hands where it's comfortable, maybe staying, or inhale, lifting the ribs, and exhale, turning the ribs deeper into the twist and breathe. Rotating to neutral, inhaling tall, exhale, turn the ribs, rest the hands, maybe staying or twisting. As deep as we feel a good release, keep breathing. Finding neutral. Let's inhale the heart towards the sky. Exhale, resting thumbs into our heart. Helping our bodies into an all-fours position. Let's feel a wrist underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Adding that flowing movement as our inhale pushes our heart forward, opening our lungs. Exhaling, ribs up to the sky as we fold our lungs. And we get just a little flowing movement as we breathe, opening and folding with our breath, finding that stretch and release today. We're welcome to continue this flowing movement up and down. Maybe our body feels like a neutral spine and we add a little side-to-side movement, shoulders drawing in towards the hips on one side and then maybe over towards the other side, finding that reach and release. through our breath. As we feel a little evenness in our movements, our ribs come in, help neutralize our spine. Go ahead and send the right foot behind us. Maybe the ball of the foot rests on the back of the mat, and we feel that heel pressing at the top of the head and lengthening, finding that reach through the back side of the body, and really finding the stretch that works with our bodies this morning. Enjoying the stillness and the stretch, or maybe adding some movement, pulling that whole leg up and down a few times. We're welcome to continue this flowing movement up and down as our heel lengthens out. In line with our head, maybe we add a little flowing movement to the side. Feel the hip and toes reach out to the side, and then back towards the ground. Finding that opening and folding movement through the leg as we breathe. And we're welcome to continue this movement, or with the leg open to the side, maybe moving that whole leg to the side and then back about like this. As we send the leg out to the side, maybe relaxing the big toe, maybe the sole of the foot rest on the ground. Keeping the spine tall with the wrist underneath the shoulders, or resting our elbows underneath the shoulders, or depending on how our shoulders and spine are feeling today, we're welcome to lengthen out the arms, sliding the collarbone down deeper towards the ground. Finding just a moment to stretch through our shoulders, taking a moment to breathe through the back of the lungs, still allowing that collarbone, ribs, shoulder blades to feel openness and release with our breath. And then we're sliding the palms back underneath us, pulling the ribs in to get control to pull the knee back, and then we'll trade sides. So the left leg can stretch back behind us. Maybe the ball of the foot feels the ground. Maybe we're reaching through the back of the heel, lengthening through the back of the head, finding that length through the leg, the spine. Keep lifting through the collarbone, stretching and reaching. So if we found a good place to hang out, we can stay or pull that whole straight leg up and down a few times. So we'll stretch into our breath. We're welcome to continue here, or as our leg extends, giving the openness to the side, the folding towards the ground. However our body guides us today. And then maybe we move that side leg out, back, just a little reach out, back as we breathe. And then we can relax the big toe to the side or the sole of the foot, continuing just as we are, lengthening through the spine, or relaxing onto our elbows, or extending through the arms and guiding our heart towards the ground and finding that release through our shoulders. Breathing through any areas of extra sensations, finding peace and rest through our breath. And we're helping our wrists under the shoulders, sliding the knees back, finding our bodies resting in any variation of a child's pose. We're feeling good about today. Breathe. Feel the back of the lungs lifting up to the sky, and the rib cage resting down towards the floor. Our child's pose can stay, arms stretching towards the front of the mat, where arms can reach to one side, feeling that openness in our side rib cage, hanging out on that side, or maybe stretching towards the other side, finding that reach that works the best this morning. And as we return to neutral, resting in stillness, or lifting to downward dog. Option to tuck into the toes, widening the fingertips, arches of the hands lifting, the palm of the hand lifting, the heels stretching towards the sky, or reaching towards the ground, or maybe we pull one thigh forward towards the ribs and then the other thigh towards the back of the mat. Noticing where our body feels a good stretch today. Let's breathe. Helping our feet find our hands as our bodies feel a moment of rest in our forward fold, fingertips on the ground or the shins or the thighs, wherever we're feeling just a little bit of relaxation. Maybe we stay in stillness. Maybe our head and neck flow a little up and down. Maybe just a little bit of side-to-side movement. Maybe a little up and down again. Let's inhale, lift our legs up halfway. Grounding through the heels. Let's inhale, lift the heart up all the way towards the sky. Actively reaching one arm towards the sky, and the other arm towards the sky. Finding that reach through our side body. Feeling the ribs opening as we stretch, relax through our breath. As we feel just a little bit of evenness, picking up the lungs on the inhale, swan diving down as we exhale. Sending the right knees behind us, relaxing the back knee and toe on the ground, arms on either side of the front leg or inside, anywhere we're feeling pretty stable today. Let's find a place to relax. Our inhale pulls our heart forward. Our exhale rests our hips back. So maybe we flow with our breath. Inhaling towards our lunge. Exhaling towards our half pyramid. Finding openness. Finding release. Just a moment to breathe and relax into our stretch. Keep the movement flowing. Maybe we find a place of stillness, continuing with the tall spine or allowing the breath to relax the body wherever the breath guides us. From here, if you'd like to breathe through the back of the lunge, you can feel the back of the ribs lifting towards the sky as we inhale, feeling the front of the ribs relaxing towards the ground as we exhale, noticing the breath, maybe allowing a little bit more release in our body as we breathe. And our inhale pulls our heart forward, opening to the front of the mat and then relaxing into our body's place of rest. Any variation of child's pose. Enjoying stillness. Maybe we feel like a flowy movement into our kneeling plank, stabilizing here. We're exhaling elbows to the ribs, inhaling, opening the heart to cobra, exhaling all the way back to child's pose, resting our body as we breathe. Sending the right toes forward, finding that release of the heel under the knee, arms where we're stable. Let's inhale, flowing the heart forward. Exhaling, resting the hips back, and maybe moving with our breath. Inhaling towards the lunge, exhaling towards the pyramid, finding that reach, that release as we breathe, resting in to our breath, wherever our body gives us today. And again, maybe we continue the flowing movement. Maybe we find a place of stillness, enjoying the stretch wherever we've landed. Maybe we breathe through the back of the lungs, lifting up towards the sky as we inhale, exhaling the front of the lungs towards the ground. Noticing maybe a little bit more relaxation. Just take a moment to breathe where our body gives us today. The inhale pulls our heart to the front of the mat. Our back toes find the front toes resting in our body's forward fold. Fingertips on the ground, shins or thighs finding support with our spine to stillness. We're flowing the head and neck a little up and down, maybe a little side to side, maybe a little up and down again. Let's inhale halfway. Grounding our heels and inhaling all the way, heart to the sky. Exhaling, thumb stepping wide. Maybe that means moving sideways on our mat, choosing where you feel the most stable. Toes drawing towards the corners, fingers drawing towards the corners, finding our 5-point star. Let's move just the elbows to begin, exhaling elbows to the ribs. Then we can add the hips, exhaling tailbone back, elbows in. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, pushing back through the hips, lifting. We are being mindful that our knees are traveling towards the toes, finding that hip-knee-toe alignment, keeping our joints stable with our movement. Then we are welcome to continue with this arm flow up and down. Or maybe we start to circle the arms, reaching fingertips towards the floor, reaching fingertips towards the sky. Still moving that tailbone back, pressing it back up, finding any flowing movement our bodies allow today. Let's breathe. And the next time we reach up tall, return into that 5-point star, feeling that stretch in our breath. We can stay here or send the tailbone back, taking up the lower belly, maybe sliding one elbow forward and the other elbow forward, feeling that rotation side to side with our breath. And as we feel a little evenness, palms rest on the thighs, maybe drawing the ribs parallel. Let's inhale, the spine neutral, and relax into the shoulders. If you'd like to add a few standing cat-cows, we can inhale, push the rib cage forward, and then exhale the ribs towards the sky. Feeling just a little flowing movement in our spinal column as we breathe. Now we'll ground our heels. Inhale, fingertips to the sky. Exhale, thumbs to the heart. Guiding our feet back to the front of our mat. Opening with our inhales. Swan diving through the exhales. And rest for a moment in our body's forward fold. Shoulders, ribs, relax. Maybe our left foot behind us. Finding the lunge of our choice. Back knee up or down. Maybe we're twisting towards the front thigh. And breathe. And then returning, child's pose or downward dog, having a moment of stillness and relaxation, or maybe we're inhaling, feeling a plank or kneeling plank to hang out in, option to lower with control, elbows towards the ribs, inhale, opening through the heart, exhaling, returning all the way back, finding a few resting breaths. Helping those left toes stretch up and towards our lunge. Back knee up or down. Maybe we're twisting towards the front thigh. And then returning to child's pose or downward dog. Taking just a moment to breathe. Taking just a few resting breaths. Option for a 3-legged dog with the right toes traveling up towards the sky. Helping our right foot find its way into our lunge, relaxing the heel under the knee. Opening our bodies into our warrior 2, and reaching our fingers towards the feet. Take a moment to settle and relax into the breath. Now as we stretch this front leg towards straight, picking up the toes, moving the toes into a parallel position, and then widening both toes back out and towards the corners. Now from here, we're going to let one knee bend, and maybe both arms reach over our head towards the bent knee, stretching through our side body. Then we'll come back to where we started. And then bend the other knee, reaching our arms towards the bent knee on the other side. And we'll move side to side, stretching towards one side, back to neutral, stretching towards the other side. Again, being mindful that our knees and hips are reaching towards the toes, but not over the toes, keeping our joints as stable as possible. Maybe one more each side. find neutral, drawing our toes back into this parallel. Rest our hands on the hips, inhaling heart towards the sky, exhaling to parallel. Hands can stay on the hips, hands can rest on the thighs, or fingertips can rest towards the ground. So again, we can relax just where our body gave us. If your hands are on the ground, one palm can come under the heart, the other hand can come up to the hip. We can rotate our ribs towards the top hand. The top hand has the option to reach up towards the sky. If our hands are on the hips, we can twist as well. Come back to neutral, trading sides, reaching towards the hand on the hip, or hand can stretch up towards the sky. Hands can stay lifted. Take a moment to breathe. Then returning fingertips to the ground. And maybe just allowing the shoulders, head, and neck to rest with gravity for just a couple of breaths. As we lengthen out the spine towards parallel, we're going to send our front toes, which should be our right toes, and our hands back towards the front of the mat. Front knee can be bent or straight. Fingertips can rest maybe underneath the shoulders, or fingertips can come up to the hips. We're going to inhale and open our rib cage out to the side, finding either a triangle or a side ankle. So elbow, back of the hand, or again, fingertips can find rest. Back of the hand can hang out on the hip or reach towards the sky. Choosing where your body guides us. Take a couple of deep breaths. Deepening that bend in the front knee, returning into the lunge of our choice, maybe stretching back, child's pose or downward dog. Having a moment of enjoying the place of stillness and relaxation. Maybe our inhales blow us into a plank or kneeling plank. We can hang out. We can exhale, elbows towards the ribs. Inhale, opening through the heart. Exhaling back. Finding just a moment to breathe. Give a few resting breaths. Having that option of a three-legged dog with the left toes traveling towards the sky and the left foot finding our lunge. Heel resting under the knee. Back heel grounds to the side. Opening into our warrior two. Finding length. Finding rest into our breath. Relaxing through our exhales. So we're going to stretch this front leg towards straight, bringing our feet into the parallel stance, so both toes and heels are reaching to the front of the mat. We're going to, again, plant the heels and inhale, pull the heart to the sky. As we exhale, find that parallel stance. Ribs parallel towards the ground. Hands hanging out on the hips, or the front of the thighs, or fingertips, or palms under the shoulders. Now our ribs can continue to be more parallel towards the ground, and we're going to think about breathing into the back of the lungs. So our inhale pulls the back of the lungs up towards the sky, and our exhale relaxes our ribs towards the thighs. And maybe we find movement, maybe we don't, maybe our body continues in that parallel option. We can always soften the bend in the knees, reducing any need for hyperextension in our legs for stability. And joining a place of stretch and relaxation in our body enjoys. So we're welcome to stay in the middle of our legs, or our ribs can reach towards one thigh, and if our hands are on the ground, our hands can walk towards that leg. If your hand's on your hips, you just stretch the ribs towards that leg wherever our body feels the most stable. Continuing to breathe, just a few resting breaths. Walking back to neutral. Let's stretch towards the other leg. Fingertips on the ground. Or reaching towards the leg or resting on the hips. Take a couple of breaths wherever our body allows and release. As we draw the arms back to neutral, enjoying the ribs parallel to the ground, or exhaling, ribs towards the thighs, or even walking the hands inside the ribs and the legs, and releasing our ribs maybe even deeper towards the thighs, thinking about the back of the lungs lifting and the front of the lungs relaxing. Find just a few resting breaths. Now, as we are ready, we're going to bring our hands to underneath the shoulders with our chest parallel to the ground. These front toes, which should be our left toes, reach towards the front of the mat with the back heel in our triangle of choice, or front knee can bend to a side angle. So maybe fingertips are under the shoulders or up to the hips as we pull the heart open to the side, lengthening through the back of the head, back at the hips. And choose that place for your arms to feel stable wherever the body gives us today. Feet resting exhales. If we haven't already, we're deepening the bend in the front knee, returning our back leg into the lunge, and then releasing back. Child's pose, downward dog, any other place of relaxation and rest, or maybe we're moving. Inhaling, finding plank or kneeling plank. Always welcome to stay, building strength. Or exhaling, elbows in. Inhale, opening the heart. Exhaling, all the way back. Let's breathe. Finding a place of rest and peace through our exhales. Our feet draw up towards the hands, creating a moment of relaxation in our body's forward fold. Fingertips on the ground, fingertips on the shin or the thighs. Finding a moment of stillness and rest, or maybe our head and neck flow a little up and down. Maybe a little side to side, maybe a little up and down again. Let our inhale lift us halfway. Around through the heels, inhaling, lifting all the way, heart towards the sky. Maybe our arms relax, we can add a sway, releasing our shoulders, releasing our ribs, and the lower back. Finding a place for balancing, beginning with our tree, grounding one foot, the other thigh forward, or outer hip opens to the side. Let's squeeze it in and up. Planting through our palms, finding our focal point, toe resting or floating. Foot can feel the calf, foot can feel the thigh, avoiding pressure on our knees. Grounding with the palms at the heart, or resting, or out, or towards the ceiling, or sky. Take a moment to breathe, finding rest into our breath. Release our joints, trading legs, the other foot feels the ground, the other thigh is forward or open. Let's pull it in and up, feel the grounding, toes on the ground or floating, foot to the calf or inner thigh, avoiding pressure, hands where you feel stable, resting out or up, anywhere along the way, feeling rested to our breath. relax. Let's rest those joints a bit. Finding the front of our mat, expanding the lungs on the inhale, swan diving through the exhale, back to child's pose, downward dog, or all fours. Our body's choice, finding a moment to breathe. As we move into pigeon on the right leg, having the option to stretch the right leg out or up, helping the right knee reach towards the right wrist, relaxing both legs. We can stay. You can tuck into the back toes, feeling the tailbone resting just for a moment. Maybe our hands slide in and we pick up the lungs. Option to stay open and lifted. Option to find that diagonal line, maybe to the place that we can breathe through the back of the lungs again. So maybe inhale the back of the ribs up to the sky, and exhale, relaxing forward. Just noticing where our breath guides us today, feeling a little relaxation as our exhales continue to send the ribs towards the ground. Noticing peace, noticing rest, to relax into our breath. With our next inhale, picking up the ribs, pressing the heart towards the sky, feeling that stretch through the front side body, grounding into our palms and the back toes, pulling the front toes back, child's pose, all fours, downward dog, three-legged dog. Let's trade legs when we're ready, sending the leg out or up, helping the left knee stretch towards the left wrist, releasing the legs where they land, or maybe the back toe sends us deeper towards the floor, maybe not. We can stay lifted and open, heart staying stretching towards the sky. Maybe we feel more of a diagonal line. Maybe we lift through the back of the lungs and exhale through the front of the lungs. Just kind of noticing the breath, resting the body, wherever we feel our body release into today, finding peace through our breath. Sending our heart back open, expanding the front side body, stretching through the lungs, returning the front foot back where it came from, reaching here just for a moment. As we find a moment of rest, enjoying a place of child's pose, of any resting position you're feeling pretty good about today. Finding just a moment to breathe, sending peace and relaxation through the body with each breath. And with our inhale, let's guide the heart open, tailbone towards the ground, and then legs reach out ahead of us. So we're getting a little rolling in our tailbone, a little rocking in our hips, side to side. And then sending the soles of the feet together. Maybe flying our butterfly wings, just a few stretching breaths here. And then we're going to keep one knee bent and the other leg reaches towards straight with the toes towards the ceiling. The spinning foot can stay where it was, or we can help it inside the leg, kind of checking in with our knees and our hips and deciding which feels the best option. Now we're going to hinge forward towards the middle of our legs, feeling that openness in our lungs as we inhale, and again we're exhaling maybe just to that diagonal line, pressing through the tailbone, reaching through the back of the head, staying more in the diagonal, or exhaling the ribs towards the ground. Inhaling through the back of the lungs, exhaling the ribs towards the ground. And just noticing that place where our body feels like releasing into with our breath. Finding just a moment of rest, release as we exhale. Letting that next inhale reach our spine back tall. So we'll bring the soles of the feet back together. Take a moment to rock our hips a bit side to side. And then we're trading legs. Sliding the other leg out to the side, toe towards the sky. The other leg can hang out. Come in a little bit or a lot, checking in with our knees, hips, giving everyone a happy break. And lifting on the inhale. Maybe exhaling to that diagonal. Starting to breathe through the back of the ribs on the inhale. Releasing through the front of the ribs as we exhale. And maybe we find a little release through our breath. Noticing that maybe one side feels a little different than the other side. Maybe we felt a little bit more relaxation on one side than we do on the other side. Allowing our breath to travel into any places that we may find any extra sensations. Noticing the breath, releasing those extra sensations. So we're just being mindful that we're not feeling sharp pains, just comfortably uncomfortable stretches. And we're inhaling, guiding our spine back tall. So we'll go ahead and lengthen out both legs. And your V may be really small, maybe in the splits. You can choose your body. We're going to rock a bit side to side. So trying to lift up through one side, lift up through the other side, just a few movements side to side. And as we feel that tailbone grounding, sliding our hands on the thighs and feel like our femurs are rolling and our heads just feeling that hip joint a little bit more release. And with our toes reaching to the sky, our palms relaxing the thighs towards the ground, let's lift the heart to the sky. And then your hands can stay on the thighs, hips, or ground, but you want to be mindful that we're moving from this pelvic bowl and not our rib cage. It's kind of handy to keep our hands on our pelvic bowl, hip region. So maybe our inhale picks up this pelvic bowl, and our exhale finds the diagonal line. From here, maybe supporting our hands, and we are welcome to continue in the diagonal line we created from the tailbone through the top of the head. We're welcome to breathe the back of the ribs up to the sky, and exhale the ribs towards the ground. Maybe noticing just a little lift, just a little release. Maybe we've relaxed with the breath. Maybe we're continuing to be where we were when we very first moved our pelvis into the diagonal. Letting our breath release the movement just to wherever our body goes today. Every day is a different day. Our temperature in the room, our feelings and movements in our bodies, any of our activities can help or hinder movements on certain days. So just noticing that one day may be different from the next. And keep breathing out those extra sensations. We'll take just 2 more restful breaths wherever the body gives us. And our next inhale pulls our spine up tall. Shoulders release, and we wiggle the feet together. rocking into our hips a bit side to side. Let's travel the toes to the front of the mat as we bend our knees towards the ceiling, feeling a deep breath, pushing the heart open, and exhaling the ribs towards the thighs, feeling the shoulders relax just for a moment. Breathe. And our inhale pulls our spine tall, shoulder blades rest, holding on to the thighs or letting go, or maybe just holding on to one thigh. We'll feel the spine, feel the ground, and rest both thighs into our chest. Feeling a moment of stillness from the tailbone through the top of the head, or maybe we're adding a little rocking movement, rolling through the tailbone, the lower back, the ribs, the shoulders, and breathe here just for a moment. So our bodies are welcome to continue these thighs, chest movements, or maybe we're feeling like a happy baby today, widening the knees towards the shoulders, soles of the feet towards the sky, hands hanging on to the thighs, or the calves, or the feet, resting and relaxing in stillness, or even we can find that rocking movement side to side, wherever our body feels like stretching today. Breathe. And maybe enjoy this happy baby, or we're welcome to come into a recline straddle with the hands inside, feet, calves, thighs, our legs can reach out into that V, shoulders, hips, resting in stillness, or we can add a little rocking movement side to side here, stretching through breath wherever our body gives us today, just a few resting breaths. And maybe we're hanging out in the straddle, or we slide the soles of the feet together and find our bodies, reclined butterfly, hands on the toes or the shins as our heels sink towards the hips and the thighs rest open, feeling the lower back, finding rest on the ground as our spine feels rest and peace through our breath. Just a couple deep exhales here. And enjoying this place of relaxation, or sliding the knees and toes towards each other, returning to the thighs, to the chest, in stillness, or rocking a bit side to side. And from here, as our toes feel the ground, we'll plant into our forearms, picking up the hips and reaching them to the right side of the mat, allowing the knees to release towards the left side of the mat. Let's gaze towards the right and have the option to continue to relax here. If our extra tension in the lower back isn't feeling comfortable, the top knee can reach up to the sky. Or if we want a little bit more stretch, we can extend that top leg towards straight and reach through the thighs, through the hips. Relax through the shoulders. Feel that peace and release wherever our bodies allow our spinal stretch today, and just noticing how our body is feeling in the rotation, and feeling a little bit of peace and release through the breath. And as we're ready, let's lift up into our neutral spine, maybe returning our thighs back into our chest in stillness, maybe enjoying a little rocking movement side to side, finding those releasing moments as we breathe. And our toes can feel the ground. Maybe try lifting the hips over to the left side of the mat, relaxing the knees towards the right, hanging out. Maybe gazing away from the knees. If we're feeling extra sensations, that top thigh can reach up to the sky and reduce some of that tension in the lower back. Or for a little bit more stretch, maybe we lengthen that front leg towards straight. Finding the stretch that our bodies agree with today, and feel a little rest and peace with our exhales. Noticing a moment of stillness and a moment of rest and relaxation as we continue to feel each breath travel out those extra sensations into the ground. allowing the breath to bring in more peace and rest with each breath. Wherever we're at, we're welcome to move back into a neutral spine. Maybe hug our thighs into our chest, maybe rocking just a bit in our spine, side to side. So we're welcome to stay here if we're feeling like a bridge pose today to stretch through the front side body. Our heels can relax in line with our knees and our hips. Maybe our fingertips reach towards the heels as the shoulders ground underneath us. Feeling the inhale, pull the thighs, hips, and heart into our body's variation of bridge pose today. Choosing what feels the most open and stable. Being mindful we're not pushing into our head and neck. Just allowing the shoulders and the feet, the forearms to take on the weight of the body as we breathe. Noticing that openness and relaxation with our breath. Then our spine feels the ground. Taking a moment to settle and relax. So we're welcome to find a place of release for our body for final relaxation. So maybe we move into any stretch our body's craving at the moment. If we're feeling like little windshield wiper movements, our feet can reach wide to the side of the mat, and then maybe flowing the thighs towards one side, flowing the thighs towards the other side, allowing gravity to release the thighs towards the ground, just wherever our bodies give us in this stretch today as we rest through our exhales. We're welcome, if we're in the windshield wiper movements, we're welcome to continue here as long as the body is feeling like movement. Anytime you're ready for stillness, the feet can stay wide and let the knees hang out together and the spine feel rest on the ground. Maybe the soles of the feet join together and the thighs and hips rest out to the side into our reclined butterfly with feet resting. Maybe we feel like a traditional shavasana with our legs extended, our feet, palms open, shoulders, hips relaxed. Taking a moment to notice our body, helping our body find a place of stillness and relaxation to where we can focus on that breath resting our body. Maybe we're imagining our breath like an ocean wave today. With each ocean wave pulling in the breath from the toes all the way up through the top of the head. Our exhale releases that ocean wave back out into the sea, down from the back of the head, through the back of the heels. As we inhale, pull in that ocean wave in towards the shore. We can pull out any extra sensations out of our body. And as we exhale, feeling those extra sensations flowing out with that wave back out into the sea to stay. And allowing more peace and rest to flow through the body with each inhale. Finding rest and relaxation, continuing through the body with each exhale. Noticing the entire body, finding a moment of relaxation.